On January the 11th of 2025, there's going to be a mystical shift occurring. The North Node, which is our collective destiny, will move into the last zodiac, Pisces. And the South Node, the energy we are moving away from, will move into Virgo. What does this mean for you? Keep on watching to find out. North Node, moving into Pisces. Pisces is water. The most mystical, magical water, although my Scorpio moon would argue that. And you know what's so funny is I have my South Node in Pisces, so I know this energy all too well. All too well, to the point where I'm so stuck in it that it becomes very disruptive in my current lifetime. You know, Pisces is the last zodiac sign, so this is the energy of source, it's spirit, it's divine, it's a transition, a crossover to the other realms. And often those that have a lot of strong Pisces enjoy being in that realm more than this physical 3D realm, because it's ecstasy there, it's euphoria there. They're the type of people that love to sleep a lot. They like to be in art, be in creativity, whether that's music, whether that's some sort of self-expression, whether that's painting, photography, just any type of creational energy. They love to be in it because it's how they channel their emotions, how they're feeling. It's how they experience euphoria, ecstasy, bliss. It's how they escape as well. That's a major word. Now for us collectively, with the North Node moving into Pisces on January the 11th, the focus is a lot of people's spiritual gifts and abilities will be coming online. Those that are ready for their crystalline DNA to really upgrade and activate in a very profound way, that will be occurring. The mystical, magical waters within you will come online. This is a time for the next year and a half. We will definitely feel more of our emotional body. We'll be more in touch with our emotional body, our emotional needs, desires, our emotional language. You know, we each have a different emotional language. During this time, I think for everyone, it's so important to really connect with your creativity and work with your creativity in order to get through whatever the next stages of our ascension present us with, whatever dilemma, whatever collective chaos or situation. Working with your creativity, working with your intuition to navigate through the storms and chaos of whatever comes our way. There's also going to be, with this North Node, although it's so beautiful and blissful and so divine and just so serene in one way, from another lens, the negative, the shadows are that we can definitely want to escape. That's major. Pisces is ruled by Neptune. Neptune is escapism. And this is a time where, although collectively we're moving forward and working with this Neptunian and Piscean energy, it can get the best out of us where we want to escape, and that could be through many different forms. There's many different forms of escapism. Particularly with Neptune, it could be through drug take or alcohol, anything that alters the conscious mind, the consciousness. Also escaping through like meditative practices. You know, those of us that are very in tune with our spirituality and we live and breathe that every single day, we can often find so much bliss and euphoria in the crown chakra where we don't want to come back. You know, I'll give you an example. Those that have ever experienced channeling or, you know, working through past lives or the Akashic, you got to be so careful with that stuff, because it can almost be so addictive in a way where you want to just be so in the past, or you want to learn so much about what you've gone through or learn about the galactics, where you don't want to actually function in this physical realm, because there's so much mystique in the other realms, there's so much more magic in the other realms that you start to almost disown the reality you're currently in. That's why a lot of people can really become spiritually misaligned when working with their spiritual gifts and abilities, especially the crown and the third eye chakras, because you need a certain level of being in tune with this current world, this 3D world. You need to have a certain level of a grounding practice, should I say, that keeps your 2 feet here, where you willingly want to participate in this human vessel and in this human life. So there's that too. There is that too. There's also the tendency to feel a lot of emotional chaos due to whatever the world is going through. Now, that's all the North Node, but let's get into South Node. What are we letting go of? What are we leaving behind? Now, the South Node being in Virgo, this is an energy that rules over the very mundane aspect of life. It's the daily life. It's the energy that is very concerned with working hard, giving it its all. It's a very hard working energy that sometimes can overwork itself and be so much in service to others and so devoted to the cause or the goal or whatever it's working to achieve that it can also be disconnected with its other bodies, other aspects of the soul. The obvious is letting go of the very judgmental side, letting go of nitpicking everything, of over-analyzing everything to the point where you can actually create distortion in the nervous system. It's a letting go of certain structures and routines that we've all been so used to as well. Those are going to disintegrate, for sure. What's fascinating as I speak is that Saturn and Neptune are both in Pisces. Neptune is at home in Pisces, but they're both going to move this year. Now, of course, due to retrograde motion, they will move back into Pisces, but they're moving out. And they're going to be moving into Aries. So that is going to be quite fascinating, especially Neptune, one of the most slowest moving planets, moving into Aries, an energy it has not much in common with. That is going to be something to observe, and it's going to be an experience. So we're going through the shift, and what I've noticed as well is, as I was doing all these horoscopes, I noticed that as much as the North Node is moving into Pisces, and as much as a lot of people have experienced a lot of whatever area Pisces is in their chart, they've experienced a lot of activity and energy in that area of life due to both Saturn and Neptune being there, especially Saturn. So it's almost like we're adding into what we've already gone through, but just on another level, of where we are expanding our mind and consciousness, expanding the spiritual body, and just really going through a turning point in our collective ascension and in our personal ascension as well. So that's quite fascinating and interesting. We've had the eclipses in Aries and Libra. Now we're going to have the eclipses in Pisces and Virgo. So if you look at the area where Pisces and Virgo are in your chart, this is going to be massive and major for a lot of us. That's where you're going to really go through a major shift, change, and transformation. So now I'm going to go through all 12 zodiac signs and explain to you how the North Node and the South Node will impact you in your chart. Like I said, make sure you check out your chart and look at where Pisces and Virgo, because I am working with a whole sign house system. I do prefer Placidus, but for the point of this video, I'm working with a whole sign house system, and I'll leave all the timestamps down below. So let's get started. Aries, let's start with you and talk about how the nodes will be impacting you. So January the 11th, the North Node moves into Pisces and the South Node moves into Virgo. The nodes will remain in the Pisces and Virgo axis until summer 2026, and this is where the eclipses will be occurring. And as you know, eclipses bring major changes and major transformations. The North Node will be in your 12th house. So the North Node being where the focus is going to be, this is where there's going to be further activations and further progress. You've already gone through a lot of changes internally with Saturn and Neptune in your 12th house. This may have been a time where there may have been a lot of density and heaviness and a lot on your mind, even emotionally. And the thing about Neptune and Saturn is they will be moving out of your 12th house and into your first house. Due to retrograde season, they will be dipping back into Pisces. Nonetheless, the North Node brings a much more different energy. It's an energy of activation. It's an energy of what you need to move forward in. So you can expect developments and expansion when it comes to your spirituality, when it comes to your intuition, your spiritual gifts and abilities, when it comes to your creativity. That's where the focus is going to be. Sure, there's been focus on that, but there's been more of a restructuring, sobering, breaking any illusions, really getting clear about any areas of life where you've been escaping or anything that you've been fantasizing. That's all been dissolving with Saturn and Neptune in your 12th house, which may have brought forward some difficult realizations. But with the North Node now, since you've done a lot of that work, now of course that depends on everyone's chart because every chart is going to vary. But for the majority of those who have been impacted by Saturn and Neptune in the 12th house, that energy is now moving forwards and it will be moving into your first house. So sure, it will be maturing you and bringing out a much more serious, wiser part of you out. But with the North Node moving into your 12th house, this is going to impact your spirituality, your gifts and abilities, your intuition, your creativity. So definitely work with that creative energy because there's going to be a lot of it at your disposal, and that's where your higher self wants you to focus and evolve in. The South Node being in your 6th house, South Node is the energy we're moving away from and shedding. So a lot of your old patterns, habits regarding work, your daily routine, health and wellness, anything that hasn't been serving you, any type of disruption in this area of life, you're going to have to really navigate through it so that you can let go of anything that is not in harmony or in alignment with you. And this is also where the eclipses will occur in your 12th and 6th house, which means there can be a lot of changes and shifts and major experiences that occur regarding your 12th and 6th house. You have had the eclipses and the nodes in your sign and opposite sign. Now it's time to apply and integrate those lessons and move forward and focus on the North Node being in your 12th house and the South Node being your 6th house. That's where the stars, the cosmos, and your higher self want you to focus on. So Aries, I hope you have an incredible time with these nodes, and I hope it brings forth clarity and brings forth magic and expansion, and I'll catch you soon. Hey Taurus, let's take a look at how the nodes will be impacting you. So January the 11th, the North Node moves into Pisces and the South Node moves into Virgo. This is also where the eclipses will be occurring with the North Node in Pisces in your 11th house. This means there's going to be a focus, a development when it comes to friendships, groups, social networks, community, shared hopes and visions for the future. This is a very humanitarian energy, so there's going to be a lot of coming together, especially like spiritual groups. I mean, this area of life is ruled by Pisces, so a lot of emphasis on that. Now, you've already had Neptune and Saturn both in this area of life. Now, with Saturn here, there may have been a lot of more restructuring or reorganizing or really coming to the reality of certain friendships, groups, and communities. There may have been a time where you felt a little cut off and kind of isolated almost, and perhaps this was a time which didn't really make you feel like you wanted to socialize because you were just kind of left with the reality of things. But with the North Node, it brings a different energy. It's an energy you need to, well, your higher self and the cosmos are emphasizing on for you to develop further in and progress further in. So during this time, you may feel a little more social, like you want to go out there and socialize and be around people and join groups and even like meet new people or get into some sort of community that you have shared visions for the future, or you want to do like a creative project that you collaborate with other people as well. So that can be a major focus for you with the North Node in the 11th house. And with the South Node in your 5th house, there's a lot of letting go of things that probably weren't serving you, that are connected to where you find your pleasure from, where you find your joy, where you find your happiness, or even creativity. Perhaps there were some things that weren't really serving you or weren't really in alignment with you. And with the South Node here, there's a lot of letting go of the old version of you, that loved certain things or enjoyed certain things, or even when it comes to like relationships, or some part of your self-expression kind of transforms in a way. Now, these are the two areas of life where the eclipses will occur, so you can definitely expect some major changes or major growth and expansion in these areas of life. So Taurus, I'm wishing you all the best, and I'll catch you soon. Hey Gem, let's talk about how the nodes will be impacting you. Now, the North Node moves into Pisces and the South Node moves into Virgo on January the 11th, and they will remain in the Pisces and Virgo axis until summer 2026. And this is also where the eclipses will be occurring. I'm excited to tell you the North Node will be activating and impacting your 10th house. The 10th house rules over career, goals, ambitions, and also success. So if you've been working hard on something, really trying your best and giving it your all in achieving a certain goal or ambition regarding work and career, this is a time where you can expect to see success. Now, everyone's chart varies because, of course, you are unique. Your chart is unique. It won't manifest the same for every single person because you have to consider all the other planets and placements and angles, and I am working with a whole sign house system. So this is just a general overview. Now, you already had Saturn and Neptune in your 10th house, and that may have had to really bring forth more responsibilities or make you really reorganize, restructure this area of life. Perhaps it made you realize a lot of harsh truths, or you had a lot on your plate. You had to constantly work hard to get some results, and it was a stressful period. It may have also helped you to realize any part of this area of life that you were kind of looking at from rose-tinted glasses. So there may have been a period where you really had to face some truths that were difficult. But now with Saturn Neptune moving into Aries and moving out of your 10th house, they will still dip in and out due to retrograde cycles, but the North Node here emphasizes on progression, on growth, on expansion. So this should be really good for you. Now with the South Node in the 4th house, which rules over home, family, your ancestry, your roots, this is where you go to find healing, sanctuary. This is your temple. This is your stability, your security. So there could be a lot of things that you have to kind of navigate through, like family dilemmas or even like ancestral wounds or ancestral generational curses. And by that I mean just doing some shadow work, doing some deep-rooted shadow work that comes up so that you can let go of things that have been holding you back or have had you in chains, and really be done with anything that is no longer serving you, patterns that have been just following you from lifetimes and lifetimes, because the 4th house, if you look at it from a very esoteric point of view, it also rolls over past lives. So there may be some situations that come up regarding home, family, your sense of stability and security, and that's something you have to kind of navigate through and do some shadow work over, because that's what the South Node is. It's a very shadow area energy. So that may be bringing up a lot of situations and patterns and habits that have been repeating for a very long time. Now, the eclipses will be taking place in your 10th and 4th house, so you can expect major changes and experiences and transformations in these two areas of life. So, Gem, I'm wishing you all the best, and I'll catch you later. Hey, Cancer, let's take a look how the nodes will be impacting you. So on January the 11th until summer 2026, the North Node will be in Pisces and the South Node will be in Virgo. And this is where the eclipses will also occur. Now, the North Node for you will be in your 9th house of foreign travel, of education, higher learning, and also your spirituality and philosophies and your higher mind. And the South Node will be in the 3rd house. The 3rd house rules over local travel. It rules over community, communication, your mind, the way you think. Now, when it comes to the North Node in your 9th house, you've already had Saturn and Neptune here, and they will both be dipping in and out because they will be moving into Aries. So they will be moving into the next sign for you, the next area of life. But with the North Node, it's about applying the lessons of Saturn, Neptune in your 9th house, but then also looking forward to progressing forward, to moving forward, because that is what the North Node is all about. It's all about moving forward. It's all about where the next stage of your ascension, your evolution is at. And for you, you are moving forward when it comes to your higher mind, your belief systems, your philosophies, your spirituality. There's definitely going to be a major shift there. There's also going to be opportunity for traveling and expanding your horizons, expanding your mind by exploring, going on adventures in the more human way as well. Also when it comes to higher learning and education and working on creative projects as well, that is going to be moving forward for you. So it's
a very exciting time, an exciting time. And with the South Node in your third house, the South Node is the energy we're moving away from. So there may be an occurrence where you're moving away from your local neighborhood or your local community, or moving away from a certain belief system as well, or how you've been thinking in the past, or even your way of communicating, whether that's verbal, whether that's non-verbal. That's all shifting and changing for you as well. And the eclipses, like I said, will occur in these signs, so there's going to be major life changes, major life epiphanies and transformation occurring in these areas of life. So this is where the next stage of your greatness is at, okay? You are moving forward. Things are moving at a very fast pace now, and there's so much ahead. There's so much to look forward to. So I'm wishing you all the best, and I will see you and chat with you very soon. Hey Leo, let's take a look at how the nodes will be impacting you. So on January the 11th all the way until summer of 2026, the North Node will be in Pisces and the South Node will be in Virgo. So what does this mean for you? So the North Node will move into your 8th house. So it'll move from your 9th house into your 8th house. And the 8th house rules over shared finances and resources. This rules over intimacy. It rules over deep spiritual and esoteric practices, and deep spiritual and psychological healing and transformation as well. Whereas the 7th house is about committed relationships and partnerships and marriage, the 8th house elaborates further on that. It's not as romantic as the 7th house because it deals with the more serious aspects of a partnership or marriage when it comes to not just coming into union, but coming into union and merging what you own, your resources, finances, when it comes to merging your soul. Like, it's much more deeper than the 7th house. The 7th house to me is like the more superficial aspect of a relationship and partnership, and the 8th house is just Pluto. Let's get deeper. So the North Node is going to be in the 8th house for you, which means this is where there's going to be a lot of emphasis and a lot of focus in your life. It's about shared finances and resources, whether that is in a relationship that is like a marriage or a romantic relationship, or whether that's like a partnership of some sort. This is also the area of life where you're going to be really expanding in your spiritual beliefs and practices and abilities and transforming your mind. There may also be a emphasis on really getting intimate and expanding in that area of life as well with your partner. Now the South Node for you will be in the 2nd house. So the 2nd house rules over your own personal finances and resources and what you own, how you feel about yourself, your self-worth, your attitudes towards finances and resources. This is also how you create abundance for yourself. Now, the South Node is in that area of life. The South Node is the energy we're moving away from, that we're shedding. So a lot of attitudes or belief systems regarding the 2nd house, a lot of old situations clearing away from your life so that you can progress forward and move forward. And remember, this is where the eclipses will occur. So that's where you're going to find major life changes and major transformation occurring for you. Now, this won't apply to every single Leo because, of course, your chart is going to be unique, and I'm working with the whole sign house system, so it's going to vary. But the general overview theme for you is expanding and transforming in the 6th and 8th house axis. Okay? So it's about merging. Now, Pluto is in Aquarius. It is in your opposite sign. So there's a lot of that already happening in the background, the back. Now, Pluto is a very slow-moving planet. So it's going to be in the sign Aquarius for a very long time, like 2 decades. It's not going to officially move out, I think, until like 2044. So is this going to impact everyone at the same time? No. But there is this overall theme of Pluto, of rebirth, of transformation, of merging, of intimacy, deep spiritual soul intimacy and connection, and deep spiritual epiphanies and expanding. So that's going to be a major theme for you when it comes to the nodes. So Leo, I'm wishing you all the best, and I'll catch you later.
Hey Virgo, let's take a look at how the nodes will impact you, because you are one of the signs that is going to be impacted the most by these nodes. Because the North Node, meaning the energy you're moving forward in, is going to be in your opposite sign, Pisces. And the South Node, the energy you're leaving behind, that you're moving away from now, is going to be in your sign, Virgo. So this is major for you because the eclipses will occur in the Pisces and Virgo axis. So major life changes, Virgo. When I say major life changes, like, I can't tell you how important this is going to be for you all at different stages, of course, because everyone's chart is unique. Now, these eclipses may not be the most easiest for you because the North Node is in your opposite sign, Pisces. So it's not an energy you're that comfortable with or familiar with, depending on, of course, your chart and your personal placements and planets. Now, when I say this is not going to be the easiest, I mean, it's because there's going to be a lot of growth that's going to occur, and growth means growing pains, okay? Pisces and Virgo are just so opposite in nature. Virgo is earth. Virgo is the root chakra. Pisces is water, the crown chakra. You're on two opposite spectrums. But regardless, you still need each other. You still need each other's energy. What you have less of, you need more of. For example, if you're very earth-based, very earth-heavy, you need the water to balance you out. And vice versa, if you're very water-dominant, you need the earth to balance you and ground you. So this is actually going to be a really good time for you in terms of your growth, in terms of your soul's evolution here, having this human experience and really expanding further. When the nodes are in your sign, regardless of it being the South Node or the North Node, this emphasizes on major life changes that can impact all areas of life, from your identity to your beliefs, to your ideologies and goals, ambitions, home, family, work, career, and relationships. Eclipses impact all major areas of life, all major points of your life. And often when one area of life gets impacted, all other areas get impacted. For example, let's say your relationship is going through some sort of change, or there's some sort of tension or stress. That impacts home life. That impacts how you think. That impacts your feelings, your emotion. That impacts how much you give yourself at your work and your goals and ambitions. And the same goes for any other area of life. You know, when you're stressed at work and things aren't going the way you want them to go and there's tension, that impacts your home life, your personal life. That impacts your emotions, how you're feeling, how much you believe in yourself. That impacts your relationships. Like, everything in your life, it has an impact on each other in each area. Now, for you, there's a lot of letting go, almost like letting go of an old version of yourself, letting go of this old reality that you've been living, this old life that you've been living. Because, like I said, yes, regardless of it being the South Node or the North Node, there's still major changes occurring. And of course that's true because that's where the eclipses will take place. But when the South Node is in your sign, that is the old you. That is the past. That is like almost like a past life. Like, for me personally, I always, whenever I go through like a major change in my life and I look back and I'm like, wow, how many like past lives have I lived, like in this current lifetime? Like, so many. And that's because I'm always going through this kind of like Scorpio death and rebirth process. And that's what it could feel like for you with the South Node in your sign.
like a letting go of a past version of yourself, a past situation where it just changes your entire life. And it's like letting go of a past life and entering a new life, entering this new version of yourself, this new reality, this new trajectory as well, which is the North Node in your opposite sign, Pisces. Pisces is the emotions, it's spirituality, it's the divine, it's your intuition, it's the water that exists within you, it's the dreams, it's the creativity, it's faith, it's unity, it's connection. It's the depths of your soul. That's what you're moving into now. That is what you're moving into because that's where the North Node is. So Virgo, you can expect major life changes occurring for you. And the emphasis here is on letting go of old situations, an old reality, an old version of yourself. Of course, this depends on everyone's unique chart. It's not going to be the same for everyone because you have your own placements, your own angles, and this is just an overview, just a generalization. But if you want to get deeper, book a one-to-one reading. But when it comes to just old patterns, old habits, your higher self, the cosmos, this is showing that you're ready now. You're ready to step up into this new era, this new journey, this new trajectory. So I'm wishing you all the best. Take care, and I'll catch you soon. Hey Libra, let's take a look at how the nodes will impact you. On January the 11th, the North Node moves into Pisces, and the South Node moves into Virgo, and they will remain in the Pisces and Virgo axis until summer 2026. So let's take a look at how these nodes will be impacting you, because the eclipses will be occurring in these signs and the areas of life that they're activating for you. So the North Node will be in your 6th house. So there's going to be an emphasis on your daily routine, your habits, health, wellness, how you are of service to others, and work. That's going to be major for you. That is the energy you are now moving forward in. Now, Saturn and Neptune have been in this area of life, and they will be dipping in and out because they will be moving into the next sign, into the next area of life. And for you, that will be relationships because it's going to be the 7th house. However, all the lessons you have learned with the Saturn and Neptune transit, it's time to apply that, integrate that, and move forward. Because what the North Node is going to be doing is progressing you forward in your journey regarding the 6th house. So because the eclipses will take place in the 6th house and also the 12th house, this is where you can expect major life changes. Now, with the South Node in Virgo in your 12th house, this is what you're letting go of, what you're moving away from. So the 12th house is the last area of life. It's the last house in this zodiac wheel. So this is like a transitional area of life. It's where you find your spiritual connection. It's where you find the divine. It's where you find your higher self. It's where you feel in tune with your emotions, your intuition, your dreams, your creativity. This is also the area of life that rules over escapism. Now you're moving away from that. You're moving away from the fantasy, even though the North Node is in Pisces, but for you it's in the 6th house, so it is grounding you to reality just in a very spiritual way. But it's time to get away from any illusions, any fantasy, any escape tendencies, any type of fog, cloud, mist that has not been serving you. It's time to break away from that, break free from that. Now, this is where the eclipses will be occurring, so that's where you're going to feel major life changes and transformations occur. It's about moving forward and progressing forward in your routine, your discipline, your health, your wellness, how you take care of yourself, how you nurture yourself, how you can become the greatest version of yourself, how you are of service to others, and also your work. So there could be changes here, major changes here that make you restructure your life, reorganize your life, that bring forward change, much needed change, epiphanies, a new life path, a new life direction, a new trajectory. So that's going to be major for you. So Libra, take care, and I'll catch you soon.
Hey Scorpio, let's take a look at how the nodal shift will impact you. On January the 11th, the North Node moves into Pisces and the South Node moves into Virgo until summer 2026, for the next year and a half. Now, the North Node will be impacting your 5th house and the South Node will be impacting your 11th house. And these are the areas of life that will be impacted by the eclipses as well. So you can expect or experience major shifts, changes, or life experiences in these areas of life. Now, this does, of course, depend on your chart. For the sake of this video, I'm working with the whole sign house system, but it may be different with other house systems, especially with Placidus, which I do work with in one-to-one sessions. And also depending on your other planets and aspects and angles in your chart. So this is just a general overview. However, do bear in mind that the interpretation can vary from chart to chart. So with the North Node in the 5th house, this is the area of life that you're expanding in now. This is the area of life that you're moving forward in, and there's going to be a huge focus and emphasis in this area of life. So what does this area of life rule over? Well, the 5th house rules over a couple of different things, but it is like a fun, exciting, joyful area of life. It's a happy area of life. It's where we find our joy. It's where we find our laughter. It's where we find our creativity. This is where our inner child exists. This is where we go to have fun and play, to find inspiration. And also this is the area of life that rules over leisure and pleasure, and also dating and romantic relationships, where it differs from the 7th house, is where the 7th house is more about committed partnerships and relationships. The 5th house is more about casual relationships, or the more romantic element of relationships where you're just getting to know somebody or where you're dating. That's where the difference is. Now with the North Node here, it's exciting. It's fun. You know, you deserve it. You deserve to experience expansion in this area of life. Now, Saturn and Neptune will be dipping in and out of this area of life, so it may have been a bit serious, it may have been a little denser, but Saturn and Neptune are moving in and out, so you can expect that energy to kind of slowly and gradually move away. And with the North Node being in your 6th house, there may have been more of a focus on work and your everyday life and routine and health and wellness, but now it's time to focus. What the stars are emphasizing on here is focusing on your inner child. What makes you giggle? What makes you feel happy and joyful? And what lights you up? You know, what inspires you? What brings you alive? What is bringing joy into your life? What is making you feel creative, and what is allowing you to express yourself? That's where you're growing in now. That's where you're moving in. So that's exciting. That's exciting because this has to do with creativity. So you could really create a lot during this time. Pisces is a very creative energy, and so is a 5th house. So you can definitely work with your intuitive gifts and abilities to create something so beautiful and just really have a great time here. Now, with the South Node opposite in your 11th house, that's the area of life where there is a letting go, there's a shedding, there's a moving away from. The 11th house rules over friends, friendships, groups, social networks, and also shared goals and visions, community as well. So that's an area of life where there's going to be a lot of letting go. There could be some friends that you kind of just are ready to say goodbye to now, or friendships that fade away or have served their purpose, friendships or communities and groups you're no longer aligned with, you know, hopes and visions that you don't hold anymore, and you're shifting and you're changing. So that's the area of life where you're letting go. That's the area of life where you're saying goodbye to, okay? And with goodbyes and with letting go, there's of course new chapters and new beginnings and new opportunities. So you have to embrace the new. You have to embrace the new opportunities that await you. Now, the eclipses will be taking place in these two areas of life, so that's where you can feel or experience major transformation, major changes. Also, the 5th house
not only does it rule the inner child, but it also has to do with children as well. So that could be a major theme. So Scorpio, wishing you all the best. Work with your creativity, work with your self-expression, because you can create so much magic, and I'll catch you later. Hey Sag, let's take a look at how the nodal shift will impact you. On the 11th of January until summer 2026, the North Node will move into Pisces and the South Node will move into Virgo, which means the North Node will impact your 4th house that rules over home, family, stability, security. This is your safety net. This is where you go to heal, rejuvenate, retreat. This is your sanctuary. And the South Node will be in your 10th house that rules over career, goals, and ambitions. Now, this axis is very important in everyone's life, and it's going to take great importance in your life. You already have Neptune and Saturn moving in and out in the coming year out of your 4th house and into your 5th house. Now, this axis is the public and the private, the public and the personal. And it's so important to have a balance in both of these areas of life because they complement one another. When one is off track, the other one is going to be impacted, and vice versa. If you're giving one area of life too much energy, the other one is not going to feel fulfilled. Now, with the North Node in your 4th house, this shows that a lot of the themes that you've already gone through with Saturn and Neptune in your 4th house, these energies are now going to progress forward. So there will be an emphasis on some of the things you've already gone through, but now it's time to really move forward with home, with family, with your security, with your stability, with what makes you feel at home. This is a very mystical, magical area of life as well. It goes into the ancestry, it goes into the roots, it goes into, if you want to get really esoteric and spiritual, metaphysical, this goes into past lives, past life memories, past life gifts and abilities. So there's a lot of magic to be found here. And when we're looking at the nodes, they're not planets, they're not celestial bodies. Nodes are just mystical points, but they're so powerful that they definitely can ignite a lot of those mystical gifts and abilities. So with Saturn and Neptune, if you've been going through more of the mundane manifestation of the 4th house, and there's been a lot of like responsibilities that you've had to handle and just a lot of stress or tension that you've had to navigate through, a lot of restructuring, well, now it's time to really activate the gifts and abilities that are within you that are just doormats, that are ready to be activated and channeled to the fullest. That could be a manifestation with a North Node. It doesn't always have to be the mundane. It really just depends on the path you're on and your life specifically, and also how the North Node is impacting other areas of your chart, because it won't be the same for everyone. So there's going to be a continuation and a progression of a lot of what you've gone through, but now it's like we're really moving forward, especially because Neptune and Saturn are changing signs. So we're moving forward with all that you have experienced with Saturn and Neptune being in your 4th house regarding your home, perhaps where you want your home base to be, what home means to you, what home should feel like to you, what you require at home, some of the responsibilities at home. Also when it comes to family structures, safety, security, sanctuary. Now the South Node in your 10th house, there's a part of you that will be shedding and letting go of old goals and ambitions that perhaps do not serve you anymore or not in alignment with the path that you're currently on or the trajectory that you are currently on. So you can find yourself not really relating to the things you probably wanted in the past, or even when it comes to like changing careers or changing jobs. That could be a manifestation, and it could be connected to your home base, like where you want to live or where you want to move to. So that's where the change will occur. And because the eclipses will take place in the 4th and 10th house, be ready, be prepared for any life changes, any life shifts, major life transformations occurring with home and career, okay? Because that's going to be a huge theme for you, especially in the next year and a half. So Sagittarius, I'm wishing you all the best. Take care, and we'll chat soon. Hey Capricorn, let's talk about how the nodes will be impacting you. So on January the 11th, the North Node moves into Pisces, and the South Node moves into Virgo. And the nodes will remain in the Pisces and Virgo axis until summer 2026. So the emphasis for you is going to be in your 3rd and 9th axis. With a North Node in your 3rd house in Pisces, there's going to be an emphasis on your local environment, on travel, on your mental energy, your communication skills and abilities, any projects involving communication. When it comes to your mind and how you think, how you process information, that's where there's going to be a lot of emphasis, which can really work well if you are in a job or working on a project that requires a lot of mental stimulation, a lot of mental energy, that requires a good thinking process, that requires a lot of logic, that requires you to multitask or requires good communication. This could work in your favor. And even if you work in a job that doesn't really emphasize on like communication or the things that I just mentioned, or if you're not working on any projects, you can still make the most out of this, because even when it comes to how you think about everything, your mind is going to be just so active and so stimulated during this time, where things that probably didn't make any sense to you in the past, or you couldn't figure out, you couldn't work out, there's going to be just so much energy in the crown as well, that you'll be able to quickly figure things out and process things, and things will start to make sense now. There's also an emphasis on travel. So especially more local travel, more like travel in either like the country you live in. There's a lot of emphasis on that. This area of life is also a very social area of life, a very social house. So when it comes to just socializing and being out and about, whether that's with, you know, friends or groups, community, local community in your neighborhood, that is also going to be very emphasized. Now, both Saturn and Neptune are going to be dipping in and out of your 3rd house and moving into your 4th house. So it's a lot of what you have already experienced with Saturn being in your 3rd house. Now, you are Saturn ruled. So when it comes to taking responsibility, when it comes to being on time, when it comes to handling business, when it comes to discipline, you already got that figured out. I mean, that's just your nature. That's just who you are. But the way Saturn has been influencing your way of thinking and processing information and working with like your mental energy and multitasking has just been so much more increased. And it's all about moving forward with all that Saturn has already taught you. It's about moving forward and applying the lessons of Saturn's influence in your 3rd house, because now you can get a lot of things done more than before, because it's kind of like activated you in a new way. So working on projects, you can just get things done, like I said, on just like a whole nother level. Now let's take a look at the South Node. So the South Node is in the 9th house, which means the South Node is the energy we're moving away from, letting go, shedding. So a lot of belief systems, a lot of philosophies, and even like your way of thinking, and even like perhaps spiritual beliefs or spiritual practices may fade away, or may change, may shift, or you may not resonate with anymore. And as certain things are let go of, new things await, new changes occur. And your 3rd house and your 9th house are where the eclipses will occur. So that's where you can expect major changes and major transformations occurring for you. So Capricorn rising, I hope you have an incredible time, and I'll speak with you soon. All the best. Hey Aquarius, let's take a look at how the nodes will impact you on January the 11th until summer 2026. The North Node will be in Pisces and the South Node will be in Virgo. And the North Node will be in your second house. So this is the energy you're moving forward in, that you're progressing in, that you're expanding in. You already have had, and you currently do as I'm recording, Saturn, Neptune in your second house. But there will be dipping in and out and moving into Aries, moving into your third house. So it's a lot of the lessons you already learned with Saturn, now really applying them and integrating them and moving forward. With Saturn really reminds you of your responsibilities. It holds you accountable. It makes you get really disciplined in whatever area of life it's in. There can be a lot of tension, a lot of heaviness as well. But with the North Node, and as Saturn and Neptune make their exit out, the North Node is about moving forward now and expanding. So taking all the lessons and progressing forward in this area of life. So the second house rules over what you value. It's your attitude towards finances and resources. This is also the area of life that rules over your self-worth, which often is connected and correlates and manifests to the abundance in your life. This is also the area of life that rules over your finances and what you own and your resources. So this is where you're going to be progressing forward in now, okay? Taking all the lessons of what Saturn and Neptune have taught you and now applying them and moving forward. And when we look at the South Node in Virgo in your 8th house, this is the letting go. This is what we're moving away from now. So any type of experience you've gone through when it comes to shared finances and resources, when it even comes to like your mind, when it comes to your spirituality, there's a lot that you're letting go of, a lot of tension, even like anxiousness or nervousness around that area of life, any type of pessimistic beliefs as well. Like that could be the Virgo energy. You're letting go of that. With the South Node, you may have to still navigate and deal with certain situations in order to then move forward from them. So that could be huge for you, especially because the eclipses will be taking place in your 2nd and 8th house. Now, that varies from chart to chart. I am working with the whole sign house system, so this won't apply to everyone. For that, book a one-to-one reading because it will vary differently in everyone's chart. Okay, your planets, your aspects, there's just so much to consider. And Placidus, to me, the Placidus house system is so much more personal. So the interpretation will be different as well. But overall, just a general theme working with the whole sign house system, that's where the focus is. That's where the eclipses will occur. So there could be major shifts, changes, and transformation when it comes to finances and resources regarding what you own and what you create in your life, as well as anything you share with others, intimacy, when it even comes to your deep spiritual, esoteric practices, or even when it comes to like the psyche as well. So that's going to be major for you. So Aquarius, take care. I'm wishing you all the best, and I'll chat with you soon. Pisces, you will be impacted by the North Node in Pisces the most because it's in your sign. And it will move into your sign on January the 11th and remain in your sign until summer 2026 for a year and a half, which means it will be transforming your life the most out of any other zodiac, as equally as your opposite sign, Virgo, because if the North Node is in Pisces, then the South Node will be in your opposite sign, Virgo. So what does this mean for you? When the North Node moves into your sign, this impacts every area of your life. From when it comes to you and your identity, to your goals, your ambitions, what you want to achieve in this life, your life direction, your life path, when it comes to home, family, relationships, that's a major one, and also career, goals. Like I said at the beginning, what you want to achieve, what you want to accomplish in this lifetime. Every area of your life is going to be impacted. Now, this will vary chart to chart because the North Node may be hitting some planet or angle in your chart, which of course makes the interpretation of this slightly different or even profoundly different. Again, that goes back to your chart. But overall, your life is under a major transformation. It is a karmic period. When I say it's a karmic period, I don't mean to say it's a negative period. No. What I mean to say by karmic, meaning this is a destined time. The nodes represent destiny. The North Node represents the energy you're moving into. The South Node represents the energy you're leaving behind that has served its purpose and no longer is required. So, for you, what you're letting go of, what you're shedding, what you're saying goodbye to are a lot of old patterns and habits and routines, a lot of old thoughts, habits, like I said, patterns, even relationships, how you viewed relationships, letting go of some of the memories of past relationships, letting go of some of the old emotions, letting go of constantly serving others and not giving yourself the same amount of energy, love, or attention. You're letting go of some of the things that were making you perhaps very anxious or nervous. Letting go of the things that you were overanalyzing, that you were criticizing or receiving criticism from. Letting go of the old that no longer fits into your current now and the future. It's a time where you are saying goodbye to the old, but also greeting the new, the future. That's what I mean by karmic. And a lot of things will shift and change during this time. Over the next year and a half, this of course will impact everyone at different times, at different stages. But you are heading to accomplish what your soul set you out here to accomplish. You are here to really reevaluate, reanalyze, restructure and reorganize your life and move into your divine self, your divine path, your divine destiny. So a lot can change during this time. From how you think, like I said, how you feel, your beliefs, your spirituality can go through a major change. You may feel way more intuitive and receive more intuitive guidance. You may have more stronger epiphanies. A dream time may be really strong for you. You may even feel very sensitive. Your creative gifts and abilities may come online much more strongly as well. This is about you. This is a turning of the tides. And with the eclipses falling into the Pisces and Virgo axis, major life changes will occur. And with eclipses, yes, it depends on the area of life they fall into and what other aspects they form and planets they touch, but they also impact all major areas of life, all major angles and points of your life. From you, home, family, relationships, career, goals, ambitions. Every area of life, every major area of life. So this is going to be a major time in your life that in the future years you're going to look back at and be like, yep, that's when a lot changed for me. That's when a lot shifted. So keep on holding to the faith that you have. Keep on sharing your magic. And may this work out in your highest favor and highest good. Take care, Pisces.
I hope you enjoyed this video on the North Node moving into Pisces and the South Node moving into Virgo. If you did, give it some love, and I'll see you very soon.